Alright guys, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to do another Into the Infinityverse video, and this is one that we're going to expand very soon in a lot of places. And this is one that I've talked about a few times on this channel and talked about it, but this time I'm gonna this video is gonna focus solely on it. And that is the relationship between Wendy Corduroy and the Baroness, who are in the Infinityverse. They're basically mother and daughter. Yeah, in our continuity, the Baroness is Wendy's mom. In the she's going to be revealed to. Well, I already did the spot. I wrote a spotlight where we talked about, hey, Baroness is Wendy's mom. She's secretly Wendy's mom, but right now Wendy currently doesn't know that the Baroness is her mother. She's not aware of that, but there will be coming a upcoming time where that truth is going to be revealed. She's going to basically find out that her mother is one of the top lieutenants of Cobra. So, you know, there's something you got to keep in mind. Keep in mind that it's going to rock her world. Now, currently, right now, her and Dipper have defected from the Infinity League, the superhero team that guards Earth. And they've defected because Wendy was one of the selected people for the Dark Phoenix. But when the Infinity League basically said, look, I think you're freaking out, maybe you should take some time off, and didn't believe that there was a problem here, she started to lose her mind. And Dipper, already like worried about the superhero community having too much power, was like, look, well, let's go get help. Finds his way to Black Hat and the Society of Supervillains, and the two have defected. Also, Cobra has thrown in because they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't, this could benefit us too, so we'll go too. Baroness, who met Wendy during a previous adventure, discovers that her daughter's now a member of the society, and now she's got to protect her, unaware, even though Wendy doesn't know that that's really her mom. So this is basically the most welcome to the most dysfunctional family in the Infinityverse. That's more or less what it is, the most dysfunctional family in the Infinityverse. Because trust me, Wendy is going to find out that her mom is one of the most dangerous people on the planet, and one of the top agents for the most powerful terrorist organization in Cobra. Of course, we have others out there. Cobra is the major one. Cobra in the Infinityverse is like the big one. They're like the alpha and omega of these organizations. You've also got Millennium out there. Millennium is out there. You also have Shadaloo, but they're not as powerful as Cobra is, because Cobra's been building this for a long time. So yeah, and there have been in the Infinityverse, there have been other major terrorist organizations like Spectre in the Infinityverse, but Spectre is gone. So yeah, Cobra is now the big one, and there are going to be other organizations that are going to be showing up at some point. If you're wondering if one of those organizations are Vile, yes, Vile is in the Infinityverse. So yes, a certain red-hatted, red-clad thief is also in the Infinityverse. We just gotta have the right time to introduce her. Yeah, everyone says, oh, put this character in here, put this character in here. We have plans for characters. We just gotta have the right time to show them. That's the thing, is like, we have a plan, we have set plans for certain characters showing up. It's not like we're just going to throw everything aside to shoehorn a character in there, because it wouldn't be right. So yeah. But getting back to Wendy and the Baroness, or Anastasia, her real name. So Wendy and the Baroness have not. When they do, let me back up. When they do eventually, have that realization that, when Wendy has that realization of, oh shit, it's my mom, that's my mom. It's going to be interesting, because like I said, it's going to be the most dysfunctional family in the Infinityverse. Because, yeah, Baroness hasn't really, she's never once acknowledged her daughter or her sons. She hasn't even acknowledged her family at all, and has been working with Cobra and slumming it with Destro. She's been basically dating Destro, who Destro didn't know that she had a previous family. So, yeah, don't worry, we are going to explain that, of how, how the Baroness met Dan, Manly Dan, her, Wendy's father, how they had kids, and how that, correlated into her meeting up with Destro. So there is that. So yeah, and trust me, you think Destro's gonna be cool with the idea of his lover being a secret baby mama, as well as having a family she never told him about? No. Even less, Destro is not going to be cool with with his girlfriend's daughter's boyfriend, who's going to be having his own little machinations. So, yeah, if you think Destro's cool with any of this, the quick answer is no, and trust me, there's going to be some blowback. But yeah. So, it's actually kind of fun to note that that we actually had a few other ideas as to who Wendy's mom could be, because we wanted to have we actually wanted to do the whole Wendy's mom storyline in the Infinityverse, because they never did it in Gravity Falls, and even Alex Hirsch was like, I never really wanted to touch on her mom. So we were like, cool, we'll do it. And we'll do it in a fun way. And we wanted to have Wendy's mom be a supervillain. Like, that was the get-go. Like, from the get-go, Wendy's mom was going to be a supervillain. Like, that was always our thought when we were building the Infinityverse and we wanted to touch on Wendy's mom. The idea was always, let's make her a villain. And there were a few candidates to make Wendy's mom as a legit villain. Like, there were a few candidates for Wendy's mom to be a proper villain. And we had a few. Like, we had a few good ideas as to who could be, Wendy's actual mother. Like, who could actually serve as Wendy's mom in the Infinityverse. And one of them was actually, believe it or not, it was actually close. One was going to be Shigo. Shigo was actually like the main front runner to be Wendy's mom. Because, like, when you think about it, like, it makes sense, right? Like, much like Wendy, Shigo is this very, like, aloof, very sarcastic, very badass, and the moment when shit hits the fan, she's the first one throwing punches. So it made, like, a lot of correlation to make, like, it would be a fun idea to, like, Shigo being Wendy's mom, because of just their personalities were so close together. But the reason why we kind of went against that was, like, it doesn't really tie into, like, because the way Shigo, it's always kind of implied that Shigo met Draken at a young age and has been just kind of rolling with him for the longest time. So, yeah, it wouldn't have made sense it wouldn't have been story-wise made a lot of sense, because the other thing is like, Shigo has stuck around Draken for so long, she wouldn't have time to just mosey on and, do other stuff beforehand. Also, it would have been a lot more difficult because, yeah, if she's around with Draken so much, then the problem arises of, yeah, then she wouldn't have time to have met Dan and had a family without Draken coming to call for her. So, that idea was kind of put on ice. And also, it was a lot more fun to have, because Wendy's personality is so drastically different from Baroness, because Baroness is this very proper, she's this very elite and egalitarian woman, and Wendy obviously is none of those, and it's kind of fun because their personality, because Baroness has been so far away from her daughter and by and large her kids, that her kids are kind of like the very class of people her family who come from nobility would step on and, mock and whatnot. So now she has to deal with this daughter who is, in her eyes, completely uncouth. Wendy, on the other hand, has to deal with a mother who is this complete bitch to her who has ditched her all her life and led to some mental trauma. So, yeah, they're not gonna be like, oh, Mom, I missed you so much. It's gonna be like, bitch, you left me. So therein lies the major problem for both Wendy and the Baroness, is that their personalities are just going to repeatedly clash over and over again. And even if they're like working together, there's still going to be like a problem there. And also, they're like their personalities are so like rooted against each other. And you know, Baroness has always been like this very elite woman who has had everything come to her. Well, Wendy has had kind of had to fight for everything she's ever wanted. So again, there is that kind of classism between mother and daughter. And yeah, it was just like like the reason why we kind of settled on Baroness were not just for those reasons, but also for like it just made the most sense. Like if there was any villainous character out there who you could see as Wendy's mom, it was Baroness. Like Baroness became the fast front runner because of multiple reasons, many of which were that again, Baroness you could easily explain why Baroness wasn't around for when she was gone. Like you could explain why Baroness was gone, how she could have met Dan without Cobra knowing. There was a lot of that, and don't worry, that's going to be explained. Like that is going to be explained full on in the story, so you know, don't worry about that. Another major thing that is to point out is that Baroness is like half and half on Wendy's boyfriend, who is Dipper, who, yeah, Wendy has just been kind of like, yeah, you were never there, Mom, so I never really knew, you know, I never really got the talk of don't date certain guys. Dipper's been the best guy I've had, so you're gonna deal with this. So she's kind of half and half on Dipper, or he just goes by Mason, his real name, in the Infinityverse, because he's trying to like break away from his old self. But she's kind of like, on one hand, he's like, oh, he really cares for my daughter. On the other hand, is like, there's something very wrong with this guy. I'm a little nervous around him. Like, he's making me nervous. And the fact that my daughter is a little too loyal to him is creepy. But again, that's hypocrisy because of how loyal she is to Destro. And like I said, Destro ain't gonna be happy when he finds out his girlfriend's a baby mama. So there is a whole other fucking can of worms right there for everybody to kind of ingest. So yeah. The other thing to really that is interesting of note is that it's actually, I'll talk about another character that I wanted to mention that was a front runner. Was actually not even a front runner. I should reiterate. She wasn't a front runner. She was not a front, but she was like a brief thought. Like, oh, that'd be no, and that would not work at all. And that character was Demona from Gargoyles. Like, the idea for Demona was that it made sense because she's immortal. She could have seen her out in Gravity Falls. But then I remembered, oh yeah, it wouldn't really explain the gargoyle. You know, why hasn't Wendy sprouted wings at this point? Like, at some point, like, her gargoyle DNA would have kicked in at some point, right? So yeah, it just wasn't gonna work. So those are the other. So Shigo was the front runner, was like a major front runner. Baroness was the winner, and Demona was like, oh, that'd be interesting. Oh, that'd be dumb in the long run. Like Demona, the idea of having Demona as Wendy's mom was more like, and then you'd realize when sense kicks in, it's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. So, of all three, Baroness was the clear victor to be Wendy's mom in the Infinityverse. I'm sure someone's going to go, why didn't you use her as that such and such characters as Wendy's mom? And I'm actually kind of curious, like, what villain you could see as Wendy's mother. And what kind of reasons. Like, I don't want to see, like, fucking Lord Dominator as a reason. Like, a realistic villain you could see as Wendy's mom. Not comic book, of course, going by cartoons or anime, because that's the Infinityverse. Anyway, So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of this? You guys like it, hate it, and don't worry, you're gonna be seeing the most dysfunctional mother-daughter relationship in the Infinityverse. More of it soon. Jason is still working on Chapter 10. I've been reading a lot of it. It's so good. You guys are gonna be amazed by this story arc, and Dark Phoenix is gonna have a lot more chapters done. Also, we're gonna be I actually wrote a massive special one-shot that's going to be Gravity Falls centric, dealing with the fallout of this half of Dark Phoenix, which is we're still in Act 1 of Dark Phoenix, and essentially what's going to happen is that one-shot's also going to tie into what goes on in Dark Phoenix from there on. So it's kind of like it's like a .1 chapter, if you want to go by Marvel standards. Do they still do .1 issues? Fuck it, I don't care. Anyway, so once again, hope you all enjoyed this. This was a lot of... I know this was a kind of a big video, but I thought I'd just kind of shoot the shit about this one. So anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.